Okay, hello everyone. I'm sorry for the problems. I hope they are now working. So, like Petri just wrote, I had an office update on my PC and it stopped the streaming for some reason. But now we start the webinar again. So, good morning everyone. So, my name is Jussi Kujanpää. I'm the managing director of Quha company. Welcome everyone to Quha Vento launch webinar. So during the presentation, if you have any questions or comments, please send those either using the YouTube live chat or then by email to webinar@quha.com. And also, if you are watching this webinar later on YouTube, you can use the same email address to send your questions to us and we will answer those as soon as we receive them. So, I'm happy to announce Quha Vento. Quha Vento is a standalone contactless puff switch. So standalone here means that it includes everything in one single package. It includes the sensor element, it includes the control electronics, it includes the filter firmware, power source, cable and everything in one single device. When it's contactless, it includes the same contactless puff switch technology that Quha Vento is having. So it means that there is no physical contact between the user and the puff switch. So it's very hygienic. The contamination risk between different users is minimal because of this. So we think Quha Vento is a perfect option for environmental control, for nurse calls and also for mouse clicks. So Quha Vento has a standard 3.5 mm plug, so it can replace any switch. And also the output of Quha Vento is opto-isolated up to 1500 volts, so there is no risk of electric shock to the user. There are several mounting options of Quha Vento. So it has the standard camera thread and therefore it fits most of the mounts on the market, like Rehadapt in this picture. It also can be worn on a headband. It makes it very comfortable for users using Quha Vento to make mouse clicks on any assistive mice on the market. It can be worn for hours. Also, Vento has this unique curvy design where there's this narrow part of the body which enables several new mounting options. For example, you can attach it with a cable tie to a bed, to a wheelchair or whatever position is good for the user. Vento has also easy to replace AAA battery that provides a long usage time. It depends on the battery type and the usage, but the usage time can be up to 2 years. And as you know, AAA batteries are cheap. They are available on most of the grocery stores around the world. And there are also 2 sensitivity settings on Quha Vento that are easily set. Yes. Vento has audible and visible indicators of switch activation. So this is handy when setting Quha Vento to a user. You can see when the puff is made, and also for users using Quha Vento for nurse call, it is nice to hear a beep to indicate that the call has been made. So this is Quha Vento. It has this flexible arm that can be set to any position close to the user and user's mouth. Like I said, it has this unique design, so you can use a Velcro strap or cable tie to attach Quha Vento. It also has camera thread and optional headband like this. So now it's handy for the user to make mouse clicks, for example on any head mouse or eye gaze system. Also, changing the battery on Quha Vento is easy. You just use a small screwdriver to open the clip on back of the Quha Vento, and there is the battery. It's very easy to replace like this, and also the settings are here close to the battery. And now I will have a few videos to better demonstrate the different use cases. So we start by how the Quha Vento is attached to a mount. So first tighten the camera thread adapter and then put it on the mount, tighten the screw, and now Vento is securely attached. And yes. And second example is using Quha Vento on an environmental control. This is a very basic setup just to demonstrate the possibilities. So now we have a fan attached to a pickle-made socket adapter, and now with a small puff the fan is turned on and second puff turns off the fan. Okay, like this. And third example is we are using a smart nav head mouse to make mouse clicks. So we connect Vento to the left switch input, place the smart nav on top of the computer screen, and now we can make left mouse clicks with a small puff to the Vento sensor element. So this is exactly like using Quha Cento with Quha Zono and Zono 2 mice, but now the same possibility is available for all assistive mice on the market. So at this point, if you have any questions or comments, you can send those to either the YouTube live chat or then by email to webinar@quha.com. So, do we have any questions?
We do have a couple of questions here in the email. So, first, when Vento will be available for orders?
So the question was when Vento will be available for orders. So Vento will be available for orders today, right after this webinar. We have a batch of Ventos that will be shipped when the orders come in.
So then there is a question from chat from Rafael Terrier, when it will be available to sell?
Yes, so it will be available today.
And then there is a question in the email, what will be the price of Vento?
we have sent a new price list of Quha products a few weeks ago, which includes actually already Quha Vento. But pricing of Quha Vento is the same ballpark than it was for Quha Cento MP.
Then there is another question in the chat from Rafael. What about Cento? So I think this means when the previous question was when it will be available to send, and then what about Cento? I guess it.
Yeah. Okay, so first, the differences between our puff switches. So Quha Cento is a puff switch for Quha Zono and Zono 2. So it can't be used with any other assistive mice but just our own mice, because the control electronics and the filtering firmware and everything is integrated in Zono and Zono 2. So when using Cento, there is no need for this kind of external adapter box. Then we had this product Quha Cento MP on market already for a couple of years. So Cento MP had a separate adapter box and then the standard Cento arm. So Quha Cento MP is still for sales, but Quha Vento will replace Cento MP. And Quha Vento is now it's a standalone puff switch that is not directly related to Cento. It uses the same technology, but now it's integrated in one single device. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think there are. You may actually
maybe I still continue. So sorry. So Quha Cento will of course be. We will continue Quha Cento as so far. Cento is available for Zono and Zono 2 like previously. Yes.
Okay, and then there is a question in the email. I think you may have answered at least partially. What is the difference between Cento, Cento MP and Vento? I think this was already covered.
Yes.
And then there is a question, will Cento MP still be available? I think you also covered this one.
Yes, so we have a small batch of Cento MP still on our stock that are available for orders, but Quha Vento will replace Cento MP. It has all the same functionality plus some good new features.
Then there is a comment, I think this is a comment from Rafael. Please update price list with Vento and accessories.
Yes. So if you have not received the price list, so we will send that to you today.
And also, if you might also inform us, because I think that we have sent the price list to everyone, and if you for any reason haven't received it, just please contact us and we will send it to you.
Yes.
So in the latest price list, the Vento is included. Then there is a question from Alexander Mele. Do you have an idea how long the battery can last?
Yeah, so the battery on Quha Cento, so or the battery life depends on the used battery. So if it's a lithium AAA battery or standard alkaline battery, so it's a little bit different, and it also depends on the usage, how much it is used, but it can be up to 2 years on a normal use case where it for example on environmental control, so at least 1 year should be easily achieved.
Right. At this point, I do not see any other questions either in the email. Just right. A webinar question from Valeria Mazzanti. If a customer wants to use both Zono and Vento simultaneously, which is the mounting you suggest for using both?
Yeah. Well, for Vento, I guess best mount is headband, which is the standard mount for Quha Vento, and then Vento MP could be, actually I can show it here. Maybe Vento, sorry. So Vento could be probably attached to a stand to make a right click, for example, or to stop the cursor or center it. I think this is the best option to, for example, to use a rehab stand and then Vento on a headband.
Yeah, and then there is a kind of continuation question here. Is there a headband to use them both? So we are talking about Zono and Vento.
Zono and Vento. Not okay. So with Zono I would use Vento because it doesn't need an battery. It has all the power from the Zono, and it's a lot lighter to use and also less expensive. Yes. I hope this answered your question.
Okay, and in any case we will have the full selection of all the accessories for mounting on our web page, so that will be online today.
Yes. Okay.
At the moment I did think I have covered all the questions that are either in the chat or email.
Okay. Okay, in that case we are finished with this webinar, but please remember that we have other webinars coming. We have actually still 4 other webinars for this spring. We have just announced the latest one, which is using mobile devices on daily life with a head mouse. It's now, information is now available on our web page and also registration on that. Our next webinar will be held in March. It's about differences between Quha Zono and Zono 2. If you have not registered to that, please do it on our webpage quha.com/events. Okay, but I think we are now ready for this webinar. I really like to thank you everybody for joining us, and I'm sorry for the problems in the beginning, but luckily we did manage to solve them. Okay, thank you and see you on our next webinar. Bye.